So, hi, I'm Daniel, and I want to share with you the experience of my first ayahuasca ceremony at Rythmia. So, I'd been feeling called to go and do an ayahuasca ceremony for about a year, and I started following spirit science like 4 months ago because a new friend had told me about them. And then I'd really wanted to go and do it in August, and Spirit Science dropped their Rythmia video. I saw it, and it talked about Rythmia being an ayahuasca center ceremony retreat. So I took that to be my sign, and I did everything I needed to make it happen so that I was there for the Spirit Science week. And I'm so glad I did. And so leading up to me getting there for the first ceremony and everything, I was making like a travel documentary, and I thought I was going to document my whole experience. But after the first ceremony, I was like, okay, I had no idea what I was dealing with. I'm gonna back this way off, and I need to get the full context here before I do any more, because I was way in over my head after that first ceremony. So the first ceremony comes around, and we're all going up to the building that they hold it in. There's an outdoor side, indoor in the middle, and an indoor on the other side, and there's about 70 of us. They have beds for everyone, and I'm gonna say it's rather important where you choose to lay for the night. Just, it's good to surround yourself with people that you feel comfortable around, that you feel like the people that you're around hold down a certain energy. So each night I just was particular and chose that in a tactful way for myself. So anyways, first we have this, it's like tobacco or something like that, but it helps to open up your third eye and just prepare you for the ayahuasca. So we do that, we lay down for a while, and as I'm laying down, for anyone who goes and does this, I suggest that as you're laying down, you first, way before you go, you're gonna come up with your intentions for like the miracle, the healing that you want to receive, that you want to do while you're there. So as you're laying in bed before the ayahuasca and after drinking the ayahuasca, I recommend just running the intention over and over in your mind, just like ingraining it into your mind and telling the ayahuasca as it starts to integrate into you. So we're sitting there, then we're called to get in line and go and drink our first cup. So as I'm in line, I'm doing what I just said. I'm repeating my intention over and over, and I think it's a really important aspect of it. So I finally get up to the front, and the shaman blesses the ayahuasca, hands it to me, I say my intention, and then I drink. And we're guided we have our own intentions, but we're guided on really important intentions to bring that kind of, if you get these intentions that they give to you, everything else will fall into place. So the first intention that they have you bring into the ceremony is, show me who I've become, is show me what I've been unwilling to see, hear, or feel about myself. And the reason we bring in that intention is because we need to see who we've become separated from our original whole self in order to heal and to merge back with our true self, to merge back with our soul, and to heal our heart. Those are the two next intentions. But for the first night, I was just focused on show me who I've become, show me what I've been unwilling to see, hear, or feel about myself. Oh boy, did I find out. So I went and laid in my bed, and about an hour went by, and like the first one wasn't super strong. They said it can take a while for it to start working, and I was actually impatient at first. I was like, let's get to it. But oh boy, if I had known what was coming, I wouldn't have been so impatient. And just let me say, this experience, don't let it scare you, because even though I had a rough and intense first night, it was so worth it, because I got to go in my subconscious mind and see all the clutter and garbage that was in there that was subconsciously holding me back. Because you know how they say, about 10% of our mind is conscious, and the rest is subconsciously affecting our decisions, but we don't have control over it. So I got to see what was in my subconscious, and I got to see what I've become. And when it really took effect was after the second cup. So we all went back up, but we were all like a little altered at this point. But I'm just repeating my intention over and over again, show me who I've become. And so I drink the second one, lay down, and then I start to feel a presence like merging with me. And this was my first time drinking, so the ayahuasca kind of has to get to know you, and it does that all week. So at this point, it didn't know me, and my sense was that, yeah, this is a presence that doesn't know who I am and is merging with me right now. I started seeing visions. Like, ayahuasca's compared a lot to a snake. A lot of ayahuasca drawings, there are snakes, and I just started seeing snakes in my closed eyes. But I knew that my eyes were closed and it was just a vision, so I wasn't scared by that. But then I was presented sort of with the theme of my journey just for this first night, and what I saw were the words self-hatred. And I was like, huh. I was getting pretty out of it at this point, pretty altered. But I was like, really? I didn't know I had self-hatred. But then from there, my first night was wild. Like I said, I don't want to scare you, because what they say is what's coming is going. Meaning you're going to experience all the shit that's in your subconscious mind that's holding you back, that's propelling you to make bad decisions, that's causing you to doubt yourself, all this stuff, and it's trauma we've collected throughout our lives, especially when we're insulted and judged, within the first 5 years of our life. That's when we deeply ingrain these limiting beliefs. And they just keep adding up. So, and it's more than just our own limiting beliefs. I deeply experienced how we inherit the emotions, the beliefs, and all the garbage and the stuff of our ancestors. Our parents, our ancestors, our entire lineage is just passing this stuff down, especially as it's going unconscious, just traveling through the subconscious from family member, generation to generation. So what started to overtake me was my anger. And for the past, 3, 5, 10 years, I've been a kind, gentle, loving person. And I lost my dad when I was in 8th grade. Before that, I was a pretty angry person. But after that, for some reason, I think I just started to repress my anger. And I know it was related somehow, but just on the other side of that, like, I can remember a friend one time seeing me angry because something in my music studio at school wasn't working, and I really needed to finish a song that night. And he was like, dude, I've like never seen you angry before. It was an extreme circumstance. So anyways, it starts taking over me, and this rage, repressed anger, rage just starts like seething out of me, and I just get overtaken. The shaman said they thought I became a werewolf, but I know I turned into a snake, and I just was expressing my anger. It wasn't like me consciously expressing my anger. I was consumed by my anger. I truly felt like Anakin turning into Darth Vader. Like, I was just like and I clenched my jaw so much that night. The next day I had the worst headache. Again, not to scare you, because letting go of that garbage, that pent up emotion that is just toxically stored in the subconscious, is getting rid of that is the best feeling ever. So going through one extremely intense night was absolutely worth it. I would do it over and over again on repeat. I super miss Rythmia already. But that night I truly went deep into hatred and insanity. Like, the medicine will move you around, and this first one was just releasing the toxic garbage. So I was just like minus the laugh. And so I was like taken to the spirit place. So like I could vaguely sense that I was there in physical, but I was like much more in my spirit. And at the time, my spirit was not wanting to be, my spirit was like not committing to this incarnation. That's what I went out and learned and sensed. My spirit was like, yeah, I could go and just commit to this physical existence, but why? Like, the thought that kept coming to me was like, yeah, I'm alive, now what? My spirit was not wanting to come in and truly be here. And I think a lot of us probably experience that. We don't know it because like no one in Western society is really in touch with their spirit unless they're very consciously spiritual. But you know, we're incarnated here, and what you will discover is that we do have a soul. Especially if you try plant medicine, you'll discover that we do have a soul that's separate from our body, and we're just incarnated here on Earth. And like, I know for myself, my soul was like, why am I here? Why am I here? And not wanting to commit to being in this physical reality. So I experienced all this anger and shame, and like I went into the depths of putting myself down, and like stuff that I mean, as guys, I know a lot of guys struggle with low self-esteem. I mean, girls probably do too. It's probably everyone in society, and people put a mask up, and like, you know, it's the ego where we show like, I've got it all under control, I'm super cool. And I used to think it was just me that wasn't super cool, really. and everyone else like had it together, and so I felt inferior because of that. But everyone who I meet that I talk to, like real talk, seems to have the same struggle and have insecurities and such that we inevitably pick up throughout our lives, throughout the human experience. So I was going through this super intense rage, and I was like in the reptilian part of my brain. Like we have a bucket, because purging is a part of the experience where the most popular way to purge, not by choice, but the most common way to purge really is by throwing up. So we have a bucket. Other ways to purge are by yawning, laughing. Those are my two favorites. And then we can cry. I also love to cry. And you can also have to run to the bathroom as fast as you can. So so we all have a bucket at the foot of our bed, and the first night, whenever my foot would make contact with that bucket, it freaked me out. I remember touching it, just being like, ah! Like, what was that? And so I remember at one point, they tell you there's a noble silence, right? So what that means is you can't speak to anyone, because we shouldn't take anyone out of their experience. And if anyone's going through something, let them go through it. Like, this is all cleansing, healing, despite what it looks like on the outside. Yeah. And so shamans would come and check on us occasionally, and just at one point, like, I was really in the spiritual place, but I realized that I could express myself in the physical. And because I was so far off from the physical and just like seeing it as like a fraction of my reality, I didn't care to be very considerate about the people around me as far as expressing myself, and so my anger, like, I started expressing my anger, out loud, and it just started consuming me, so that I was just yelling like, ah! That sort of thing. And after a bit, shamans would start coming up to me and being like, "You need to be more quiet, like, can you be more quiet?" And at first I was like, okay, I'll be more quiet. But then after, like, I was just taken by the medicine to express, so I did it again, and then another shaman came to me and they're like, "Can you be more quiet? Like, you need to be more quiet." And then that time I started to question it, and I was like, wait, they told me if I'm compelled by the medicine to express that I should, so maybe the shamans are just trying to trick me and to test me and to get me to not express myself when I should. So I started to mistrust the shamans. And one of the parts that was like the most legendary part of the night for me was these two really sweet shaman ladies were on either side of me. Like, one came to where my head was lying, one came to my feet, and they were trying to help me because I was really going through it, and I was just so scared and angry at them. Like, I looked back and saw her, and I was just like, and then I saw her at my feet, and I was just like a snake. Like, I saw her, and I wasn't like, oh, they're humans. I was like, what are these things? What are these foreign beings? And then I looked back, and she's still there. And so I'm just like,